So could I ask you some questions now? What made you want to write a story about people in the Buffalo fetish community?
Well, I've been writing a lot about, like, not just like sexual topics, but more underground sexual topics. Last year I wrote an article about like strip clubs and like strippers for Hustler. And then before that, I was writing about music, a lot about hip hop and things like that. So from that moment on, like I just had turned like 25 and that article came out and I feel like it was a breakthrough. Like it wasn't just reporting, it was creative and I was able to be expressive and I'm like, this is what I want to write about. I found my niche. No one else is writing about it around here. And I started having all these other ideas. And then I started my own blog, went to the Video Liquidators Theater. That was interesting. That was a whole subculture of people that go there. It's kind of like Saturday night. There'll be like a swingers thing. And then, my blog post about that kind of got to that community, and I was getting a few comments like, oh, me and my slut girlfriend will be there next Saturday, like things like that. So I'm like, oh, wait, I'm getting like a reception from people, in that community, so I must be doing something right. So I went to a Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting, wrote a blog about that. I just felt like the idea is just like coming. And then when the public launched, I thought it was like a real opportunity for Buffalo to embrace a more subculture journalism like I've been doing. I really felt like a huge vision, with this new paper. So I hustled and eventually got in touch with the editor, and Valentine's Day was coming up, and I think the idea for specifically BDSM came from, I don't know, just the emphasis on the police, like the whole news with, I just kept thinking about getting arrested. Like I have like a guilty conscience. Like what it would be like, and then the handcuffs, like 50 Shades of Grey, it's everywhere. I wanted to, out of my own curiosity, learn more about it, just what it really is, as opposed to the 50 Shades of Grey version, which definitely I'm sure isn't the reality. So I wanted to unearth the truth, because I want to be an investigative journalist, so I want to learn more than anything. Like, for all I knew, it could have been nothing. Hi, nice to meet you. We got some food.
Good, how are you? You're cold.
Yeah. I'm AnnMarie. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. But yeah, we've just been here a little while. And, how are you? Yeah, Sadie was just asking me some questions for her podcast. I'm going to take a break from
Did you get my note on Fed?
Okay.
Yeah, I sent it last night.
I haven't got a chance to look today.
It's okay.
I don't know.
You can. Is it okay to use what we just recorded on the podcast? You saying hello and all that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, what did you think the BDSM lifestyle was going to be about?
Are you recording?
Yeah. I am. We're both recording.
I turned mine off for now, just
Okay.
But I had absolutely no idea. I tried to just have as little. I didn't want to have an idea of what I would think to. I honestly, when I went to the 33 Speakeasy, I thought it would be more of alternative looking, younger people, more
like me.
Yeah, more like the Club Diablo tattoo scene. So I was surprised by the shyness, because it was so easy to find on the internet. It was everyone seemed really open, and I got there, it was more reserved than I had expected. I expected more just wildness. I don't know, but I didn't really have too many prior assumptions. I tried to keep that to a minimum. Yeah.
Now that you've gotten some education, what do you find most interesting that you think you might like?
I think I would want to go like to an actual party, but I don't know what I don't want to be like a wallflower, but you know, Buffalo is really small and it does get kind of like claustrophobic at times. And people always say, like, oh, if you want to find stuff like that, you got to go to Toronto, you got to go to New York City, you got to go to Amsterdam. So the fact that it's here and people don't know about it is interesting. So I would want to just meet people that aren't, bound by that. Like, because people around here can just fall into their own cliques and not go outside their comfort zone. So
because it's such a small city. That's why, that's a lot to do with why everything is so about discretion.
yeah,
Because people have professional lives, they have family lives, and that's why it's not publicized as much as it is. Like, if you know where to find the information, then you're looking in the right places for a reason. Like, we're not advertising at Spot Coffee about where our meetups are.
yeah. You don't want a
things
bunch
like
of people that aren't serious either. You don't want just weirdos like me popping up every day. But
Well, that's just the thing, because some people might not be out to their families, and we're talking like spouses and children, or to
Jobs.
yeah, the job thing.
Jobs, like I have personal friends who, in their contracts it states that they are the face of the customer. So if it were to be found out that this was a lifestyle thing that they were involved in, that is not the face of the customer that they want to be portraying.
Or is it? I mean, the customer.
Depends on the job. But
Yeah.
That job in particular, no.
So what do you think is the reason behind those assumptions by corporations? Like, why do you think it has a negative
We've
view?
been known as deviants. We've been
Yeah.
known as up until very recently, it's been known as a mental dysfunction.
Yeah, it's in the what is
It
that?
was.
It
Oh, it
was
got
in the
removed.
it no
DSM-4.
longer is.
It's no longer,
Okay.
It was in the DSM-4 that it was an abnormality, whereas now there's all kinds of research that BDSM relationships are emotionally more healthy.
Yeah, we were discussing that with the trust and honesty up front and
The amount of communication involved in what we do
concern
is
for safety.
so much higher.
Yeah.
Right. The concern for your partner's needs and emotions and well-being is so much higher than you're going to get from the average dating
one night
pool.
stand from, eat cheese or whatever.
Right.
So tell me, what have you found to be the most shocking?
Shocking.
I'm trying to get a reporter's perspective.
I think the shock value came. I mean, there were a couple moments, like when I saw the elderly, I was like, whoa, it's like they're kinkier than me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't judge a book by its cover. So I try to just always like push myself to find out more about people I'm passing, like in day-to-day life. I'm like a curious, like it's gonna get me in trouble someday. But also there was like a huge emphasis on privacy and discretion. Like I got that right away. But then I was like perusing FetLife, like finding all these like things and people. And there's like more graphic nudity than I've ever seen like on any like dating website or anything. Like,
Right, because it's not a dating website.
No, it's not a dating website, but like, any website, like there. I mean, there was a former coworker, like fully nude, like tied up with her face.
Okay. But you understand that you have to have an account in order to see those things.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, that was shocking to me. Like,
Sure.
Because
I can
I'd be
imagine it
scared
would be.
to put that on, like, you know what I mean?
I think it's always shocking when you find someone you know.
An old friend of mine, when I was working at a local club that doesn't exist anymore, he was like one of my number one fans. I love this guy. Found me when I first joined the site and was having a conversation with me. He's like, "Oh, you look great," and I didn't recognize him because he was in full drag, but like cyber goth drag. And this was like a manly guy that I knew at the club, and I was just like,
didn't recognize. He was on the website dressed.
right.
And, okay.
And he goes, "Oh, it's so and so." I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't want to be
"Holy shit!"
I know,
recognized
and
right away.
I've had that too. I've had a friend from another community show up at a munch, and I'm like, oh my god, it's chill. She's here for the same reasons you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
What's it like communicating with people on there?
Oh, it's.
I mean, does it run the gamut of? I mean, what are
you.
some of your experiences meeting people?
Well,
Thank you.
I think that's dependent on your position, your demographic.
How long have you been on there?
5 years.
Are you a professional at dominatrix?
I have done professional work. I might someday in the future, but I am not currently.
Okay.
I'm actually disabled. I have an autonomic nervous system condition. I'm 88% disabled in my arms. I have chronic nerve pain. So I devote my time to the community. Yeah. But 6 months into being on the site, I started working with organizing a group. So
Yeah.
I've been doing group organization for about as long as I've been on the site. So.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely read your profile. I looked at your pictures. I mean, I find it interesting that you seem like a leader. Like you're, president of the group. Like that's just your personality. Like you're just a very.
I'm thankful to have been put in the position that I'm in with the group that I'm in, because I was elected to that position. So it's nice to be recognized as as a leader of the community. Because after years of just supporting and not being leadership, it was nice to get back into it, because I ran a group years ago that I left for a lot of reasons because it wasn't a healthy situation. So it was nice to find another group that was making a lot more of an impact than that group had been previously. So it's nice.
Well, I am about at the point where I need to wrap up.
Okay.
Because I have to pick up my partner. So it's okay to use this for my podcast? Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay. I will put this on pause.